We will still have some of that smoky haze around. Overnight lows tonight around 70 degrees, back in the mid-90s Monday. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
66 Omaha, 67 in Lincoln at 7:02 on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, as the big voice told you. 4 locations to help you out when your computer's having trouble. So this is really important because a lot of people, what's happening right now is we are seeing the end of July contraction, and this happens every year right before back to school. As we get closer to the end of the month, the bench gets lighter and lighter and lighter, to the point where it's almost worrisome. If you're like one of my operations managers, you're like, where are all the computers at? And then it's like someone's pulling a rubber band, right? Or a slingshot. A slingshot's a better analogy because you're going to get hit in the forehead with a Fix My Computer stone on August 1st, because it's like everybody's back August 1st, go. And it just explodes. So I'm going to tell you the addresses of the locations so that you can make sure if you're planning on coming in with your computer, I would really suggest you get in before the 1st, because it happens this way, golly, every year. So the first location that we had was in Lincoln. It's just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road in South Lincoln, Nebraska. So you can drop your computer off there. We do also offer free pickup and free drop-off within a 30-mile radius of all of our service centers, which means in Lincoln, it's a 10-mile wide city, right? 12-mile wide city. That pretty much covers everybody in the city. So you could have us pick up your computer, bring it back to the service center, do what needs to be done, whether that's maintenance or repair, drop it off again for you. It's kind of handy. In the Omaha area, that was our second location at 168th and Burke. Just a heads up, for those of you coming out to the Omaha location, we're not doing anything there yet, but we are going to have the floors redone. You know, it says something about a business when you've been in a place long enough that you have to grind the floors and do them again. It could also mean you don't know anything about floor maintenance, but you know, we're not going to go there. But no, we are going to be doing a little light construction in there. Well, we're not. We're going to pay someone to do it because you wouldn't want me grinding the floor. That would not end well. The landlord wouldn't either. So we're going to have some light construction going on in there starting probably in August, which is going to work out perfectly as soon as we can get on the schedule with the floor guy. So, watch the caution tape and look for the new door just to the left of the old door so that you can get into there when you want to bring it by. But I definitely recommend getting in before the 1st so you can avoid that in the Omaha location. When it's done, though, the floor is going to be beautiful. We're going to have giant TVs on the walls instead of the vinyl art that we have up there right now. It's going to be pretty spectacular when it's all done. Just a light remodel and new lights, too, because when I walked into Omaha, you know when you don't walk into a space for a while, then you walk into it, it kind of feels, you see things that you were eye blind to before. And I walked into the Omaha location and I thought, you know what? It kind of looks like a cave in our front area. It's a reasonably sized space. It's moderate lighting and a concrete floor. You know, all we're missing is that drip, drip, drip sound in the background, and you've got a cave. There's a stalagmite or a stalactite or whichever one comes down from the ceiling sitting over there in the corner. So anyway, that's the Omaha location. We're going to get that one all prettied up for you as well. So if you're in before August, you'll see the before, and maybe when you pick up your computer, oh, no, it won't be that long. And we usually fix them in 24 to 48 hours. So either way, you might see the before, and then you can come by and see the after. Also, the third location that we opened is in Papillion, 84th and Highway 370 in Midlands Place, where you want to be aware of the upcoming pep rally for the Papillion Titans. They're going to have the cheerleaders and the marching band and everything else over there. Watch our Facebook page at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations for information on that coming up. And then, of course, the fourth and final location, the Baby Schrock. 9500 University Avenue in West Des Moines, Iowa. Ryan runs that shop over there. He is amazing with what he's doing with that service center. Things are going great there. I would recommend strongly, if you're in the Des Moines or West Des Moines area, that you get your computer into that location for a maintenance or a checkup, sometime before back to school, especially if you have a Mac. A lot of people don't realize that we work on Macs as well at Schrock Innovations, and we can make an old Mac, literally run like new again. The time that we can do that, though, is pretty limited because Apple is obsoleting the old Macs pretty quickly. because they want everyone to purchase the new M1-based MacBooks and iMac units. All right. Number to join us on the program if you have a question about how your technology is working. If you have a comment about the show in general or something you want to ask about, give us a call. Our number is 888-250-2091. Now, like we do every week, you can ask a question or make a comment, and we will put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. We'll add that directly to your Schrock account, so you can just have that added to your account, and then it's available for you when you come into Schrock Innovations to use it for anything your heart desires, whether that's a renewal of your security software for your computer. Maybe you want to pick up a new machine. It's a little bit of a discount there. Or if you got a little bugaboo going on, we'll take care of it there as well. Also, I haven't said this in a long time, and somebody pointed this out to me the other day. One of the things about Schrock that makes us different than other computer repair service centers. All right, let me give you the backstory on this one, because this is how it came up, and it's a good backstory. So, as you guys might know from me talking about it, my father passed away last October, and my mother has sold the house, and she's moving into an apartment, and now we're presented with the lifetime of accumulation of things, right? And what are you going to keep and what are you going to toss? And at first, you kind of want to keep everything, and then you kind of get grounded. Your wife kind of gets you back into reality. You can't keep everything, and then you kind of start narrowing it down a little bit. So as we were going through all the papers and the things like that, my mom pulls out a yellowed, folded up newspaper, and she hands it to me, and she says, "Take a look at that." And I open it up, and I'm like, "The sports section from 1995, Mom?" Yay, Huskers! They were good. Woo! What are we doing with this? Well, what we were doing with it was she looked down at the bottom, and there it was. Thor Schrock wins the Omaha World Herald and Omaha Racers competition for a free IBM computer, and there was the story that I wrote to win that. It was my first computer, and it hit me that without that win, without that computer being awarded to me, Schrock Innovations might not be here today. And the reason is, that was a Windows 3.1 computer. And when Windows 95 came out, of course, I was like the second person ever to install it. It was great. Except it really slowed my computer down, which is kind of what happens with every version of Windows you upgrade, right? So I wanted to increase the speed of my computer, but it was so expensive. Like, new computers were $2,000 back then. So it was so expensive to buy parts and things like that. So we went through, and I just started buying computers from the classifieds, trying to pull their parts out and cobble together something that would be faster than what I had now. I made fires. I learned all kinds of lessons about things that don't go together. It was a great learning experience, let me tell you what. But at one point, I called a local computer repair shop. They're since closed. It was Computer Renaissance in Lincoln. And I asked them, "Hey, how do I get into the BIOS of this compact desktop?" And they said, "For $55, you can bring it in and we'll show you how to do it." Now, literally, the answer to that question is, when you see the compact logo on the screen, press F10. That's how easy it was to solve. And, I know the adage, be aware that your knowledge is worth something, and be aware that, you should charge for your knowledge, especially when you're in the knowledge industry. Knowledge is worth something, but you know what else is worth something? Loyalty and service. And at that moment, I always knew I wanted to start a business, but I needed that idea. You're always like, if I only had that good idea, I know I could make it work. All of a sudden, it hit me that this is how everybody I've ever worked with in the computer industry is. They're all arrogant. They're all, I know more than you, bow down before me. They're all people that were not popular early in life, very much like myself, and found their popularity somehow in having knowledge over things that other people don't. And they acted like it. And I thought, if I could build a company that didn't do that, a company that when you walked away from having an interaction with them, you didn't feel belittled. You didn't feel, like you were less valuable than the clearly socially backward computer repair guy you just dealt with, then that would be a win, right? And so that's what we did. We started Schrock Innovations. And to this day, we have a rule on our phones where if you call into our service center with a problem, very much like here on the radio show, if we can solve it in 2 minutes or less, don't ask for the customer's name and phone number and open a work order and all that garbage. Just solve the problem. Because then when they have a real problem, they will call you back when they need you. And they'll come back, or they'll send their friends and family back. Just this week, I was in the Papillion Service Center, and a woman calls in on the phone, and I happened to answer. Everyone was busy. The phone rang. It was right in front of me. We pay a lot of money to make that phone ring. So I pick up the phone, right? And she's like, I can't believe you answer your own phone. And I'm like, well, I'm here. I got two hands, wasn't doing anything with either of them, so let's go. And she said, she's been calling in for various minor help things in our service center for the last 5 years. And she finally brought her computer in, and good golly, was it bad. It was a laptop. It had a bad battery. It had a mechanical hard drive. It took it took 30 minutes. The computer went to sleep before it would boot. No joke. It would come up before it got to the Windows logo or before it got to the login screen. It would go back to sleep unless you kept pushing a button on the keyboard every 15 minutes. It was that bad. And we could have fixed it up for her something fierce, but it wasn't Windows 11 compatible. So we gave her all the options, and we said, we can fix it up for you, make it Windows, it won't be Windows 11 compatible, but for $350, you'll be good until 2025. Or you can look at a new computer and then be good anytime after 2025. It's up to you. And she chose to go for the new computer route, which is probably the right choice for her. It was a third generation i3. I mean, it was time. So she, and I never liked that thing anyway. My husband always told me that it was me that thought the computer was slow. He got a new computer, and I was stuck with this thing. Thank you for telling me that it's slow. Because I thought it was slow, too. It was very slow. But she's going to buy a new computer from us. And, yeah, that's a very long game. We've been helping her for 5 years before she actually became a customer. But that's the model. That's what we do at Schrock. So once you're into Schrock, I want you to come in. I want you to experience what it's like to be helped by casually competent people. People who, yes, we might be a little socially backwards at times, we're not awkward at least. Well, we had one customer that came in one time that had a license plate that was your mom. And I had some fun with that, and it became a little weird. I'm like, take it out to your mom's car. And, the lady looked at me and she laughed, and the kid, my guy just looked at the kid. They're all kids now. I remember when I was the kid, but they're all kids now. And he looks at me like, take it to your mom's car? What are you doing, Thor? What are you talking? He didn't know her license plate said your mom. I said, take it out to the car that's your mom. And yeah, so it was funny. But anyway, so that's about as socially awkward as it gets in the service center. But yeah, casually competent. We wear T-shirts. We're not wearing ties and, fake police badges. And, we're not, wearing, thugger hoodies around the service center. We're casually competent people that want to help you with your stuff. So we want you to experience that. So the thing is, we give our first hour of labor free. That's literally $115 that we give away to every person that walks in the door. That if we can fix it in an hour or less, it's kind of like the phone thing, but this is bigger. This is like, if we can fix it in an hour or less, we'll just fix it for free for you. If it needs more time than that, we'll use that hour to figure out what needs to be done, do as much as we can in that hour, and then stop. And then we call you, just like you would want a repair person to do, and explain, this is what's what. This is how we do what we do. This is what you need. This is why you need it. This is the order that I would do these things in if you can't do them all at once. Some of them, like security in this ransomware world, are very important. And I know you don't think you have anything on your computer that's valuable. And, trust me, you don't want to bring it in here and have me fix a ransomware infection, because it's going to cost you, 3 hours of labor just to remove the virus and get it all cleaned out and figure out, make sure it's all clean. And then it spreads to all the computers in your home or devices in your home. Then you have to bring those in too, even if you just want to fix it later. You're still, I'll just throw it away and buy new computers. Some people say that. Well, you're still, $70 a year and you can prevent it from happening. So there's a lot of logic behind what we recommend, but ultimately it's your decision. And that's what we do at Schrock. We respect your decisions. We give you the facts. We give you the consequences. We respect your decisions, but we always encourage you to do what's right, what the right thing is. Just like your doctor tells you should go exercise, you could lose 10 pounds, I'm sure, right? And we all get right on that, So yes, you're supposed to come in every 6 months for your preventative maintenance checkup. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's once a year. Maybe you haven't been in 5 years, even though you've been calling for help every single, year, once or twice for 5 years. But you just never decided to bring it in for that maintenance check. I did that with my teeth once, and I ended up with 14 fillings in a day. Don't do that, guys. Especially, at least have them split it up left side, right side, so that you can still chew afterward. Because literally, I have more silver in my mouth than a silver dollar. It's crazy. 888-250-2091. All right, coming up on the program, guys. Last week, if you missed the show, I encourage you to go check it out. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Of course, that's where we're broadcasting live right now. Also at SchrockInnovations.com on the radio show page. You can go there and see all the past episodes, watch all the videos, including the Aftershock. So if you don't do the whole social network thing, if you're not a social media person, it's all available on SchrockInnovations.com. We usually get them up on Mondays for you. But last week on the program, we gave you the latest on the Windows 10 update that's coming this fall. So if you're going to stay with Windows 10 because of a limitation in your hardware or software, that's important to know. By the way, if you come into the service center, we're checking everyone's computer for Windows 11 compatibility and putting it on the invoice, whether or not you're compatible, to let you know what you need to do if there is anything you can do to become compatible. We reminded you last week to reboot your computer because last week was Patch Tuesday. We also warned you about shortages that are coming during the back-to-school season. I have to tell you guys, I mentioned last week I was in Walmart, and you know, you think Walmart is like, if you're going to go one place where you expect to see like so many items on the shelf that you can't visually pick them out from each other, that's Walmart, right? There's bins of DVDs in the middle of the aisle. You know, there's like just so much visual clutter. That's Walmart. Not right now. Not right now. Went to Target yesterday. They're not even spacing the. If I had a clothing department and I didn't have any clothes to put in it, I would at least space the racks that I have to fill the empty floor space, as opposed to leaving a quarter of my clothing section just bare carpet. That's supply chain right now, guys. That's what's going on. The stores are telling my wife, we might get that shirt in soon. Our freight's really weird right now. Just come in every 2 weeks and things are going to trickle in. We don't know what sizes. There's no rhyme or reason. It's a weird world right now, guys, and computers are no different. So coming up on the program today, we're going to take the time to tell you how to make your Windows 10 or 11 game plan so that you know which way you want to go. If you're going to go to Windows 11 or stay with Windows 10. Also, I want to remind you to go to SchrockInnovations.com. You can click on that big graphic takes up your whole screen when you go there that says click here to win a free laptop. That's the real deal, guys. So you click that and you can enter to win a free Schrock Innovations laptop. All you have to do is vote for us in the Best of Omaha, or vote in general. We don't really know that you vote for us when you vote. So we're asking you to vote for us, but just vote in the Best of Omaha. Even if you hate our guts, you can still win a free laptop. You know, it's pretty cool. Also, we talked about the Kaseya ransomware attack a couple weeks ago. They obtained a decryption key. We're going to talk about that, if it works or not. Also, how long do you keep your printers? You know, most people can't get a printer to last more than a couple years. Well, HP has just patched a vulnerability that's existed in printers for the last 16 years. So yeah, pretty much if you have an HP printer, this is something you want to hear about. Also, right to repair. We've talked about this a couple times. This hits our industry pretty strongly, but it also saves you a ton of money. Has taken some big strides forward in the last couple weeks, so we're going to tell you what's going on there as well. Also, we want your calls, 888-250-2091. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, what is your Windows 10 or 11 game plan? We're going to tell you the details that you need to know coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. The number to join us on the program, 888-250-2091. We're giving away $25 if you call in and, you win the drawing. And right now, your odds of winning are like 100%, right? So if you have a question, if you have something that's been kind of bugging you and you're just curious about it, don't hesitate to call. Because every question is a valid question. If it's just like when you were back in grade school, if you have a question, there are other kids in the classroom that have the same question. They're just not brave enough to raise their hand. Be the brave kid. That's right. I was the brave kid. I got a special seat right beside the teacher for a while. It was pretty cool. She liked me a lot. 888-250-2091. Want to welcome all of our watchers, or viewers, the watchers. Sounds so ominous. The viewers on Facebook at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Good morning, Richard, Greg, Winston. Thank you for the audio check. I appreciate it. From the unofficial audio engineer of the Compute This program, Mitch. Roger's there. The other Roger. Richard, Roger, Richard. Randy, Roger. There's the other Roger. Got him. And Aaron's here. Aaron's like, hey, nice glasses. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot to take my glasses off before I started. Yes, I'm getting old, guys. I've been at this for a while now, but... it happens, right? No one is impervious. Alrighty, so what is your Windows 10 or Windows 11 game plan? This is something that you need to start thinking about. It's not because you need to spend any money today. You just need to start preparing yourself for the future of what's going forward, because you're in one of three situations right now, and you may not even know it. Situation number one, you are already behind and in trouble from a security perspective. Situation number two, you're going to be staying on Windows 10 until 2025. Situation three, you want to move to Windows 11 as soon as possible because there are some awesome new features coming, and it's also going to give you the absolute best possible security of any operating system on the planet. Now, that's not to say that Windows 11 is going to be impervious to viruses. That's, of course, never the truth, especially in an operating system that will eventually have over 80% of the market share. It's going to get attacked. But Windows 11 obsoletes a lot of the old viruses that are out there by running them in virtualized systems. To give you kind of a visual on this, if your computer is a box and every program inside the box can be used, if you were inside the box, you could use any program you wanted. In Windows 11, inside the box, every program gets its own separate box, and it runs within that separate box. And the interactions that it has with other boxes are extremely limited. So what that means is one program can't use a vulnerability. For example, 80% of all malware still comes through Microsoft Office documents. So it's Word macros, Excel macros, things like that. Well, if you're in Word or Excel, when you go through and have a bad macro in the Word box, it can't go through and suddenly infect another program because it can't get out of its box. So it's pretty spectacular in what they're doing. So that's pretty cool stuff. So let's go through this first. The first thing you need to do is to check and see what version of Windows you're running on your computer. It's actually really easy to do. Everyone says, well, I'm running Windows 10, right? Well, there are different versions of Windows 10. That's like saying, I'm reading War and Peace, and I say, what chapter are you on? There's literally that many versions of Windows 10, okay? So what you want to do, if you're in front of your computer, go ahead and do this with me. If you're not in front of your computer and you're not driving or something, you can write this down. It's really simple. Your mouse has two buttons on it. When you want to select something, to left click. Of course, reverse this if you're left-handed. And if you want more information on something, you right click. So we want more information on your computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click the mouse on the Start menu. That's the button in the lower left-hand corner. So you right-click your mouse there, and a text-based menu is going to pop up because we want more information. Now I want you to select or left click on the word System. When you click on the word System, this is a shortcut to the About page about your computer. It's got all the specifics on your computer, your processor, how much memory you have, all that jazz. But what we're looking for is down in the section called Windows Specifications. It's going to tell you your Windows version. And for example, you want to have 21H1 right now. So my version is 21H1. So 21H1 is what you want to have. That's the current version of Windows 10. Now you may have 20H2 or 20H1 or 1809 or some other number there. If you have any other thing there besides 21H1, your Windows 10 version is out of date. The scary thing is Windows automatically updates that for you. So if it's out of date, it's because your computer, Microsoft thinks your computer cannot run 21H1. So if that's the case, especially if you're at one of the way older versions, if you get more than 2 versions behind, you no longer get security updates from Microsoft. So you didn't get a patch Tuesday last Tuesday. 2 Tuesdays ago. 2 Tuesdays ago? Yeah, no, 2 Tuesdays ago. You didn't get a patch Tuesday because you're out of date. So during the commercial break at the bottom of the hour here, right click on your start menu, left click on System, and check the version of Windows 10 that you have. If your version of Windows 10 is not current, this is something that we can help you fix over the Schrock desk, so you don't even have to bring it in. We can, of course, do this in the service center for you. Also, if you want to try to do it yourself, you can check for updates and see if Microsoft will give you the option of installing 21H1. But a lot of people, I would say about half of our customers, are still not running 21H1. Most of them are just one version behind, but that's going to be a real big problem this fall when you're 2 versions behind. You're going to lose those security updates, and we don't want that to happen. All right, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break here, guys, so stay with us through the bottom of the hour. When we come back, I said there were 3 scenarios. That was scenario 1, is that your computer is already out of date and you're already in danger. So we got to fix that first. Situation 2 is your computer can't run Windows 11. We're going to tell you what the system requirements are. And situation 3 is you should move to Windows 11 as soon as it's available. So we're going to give you all the different situations coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation. The modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute This Pro Tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Open drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. The state of Missouri is taking the county and city of St. Louis to court over reimposing its mask mandate.
By the way, that's not even what the CDC recommends. This is nothing more than a power grab by local leaders.
Missouri State Attorney General Eric Schmidt on Fox. The mandate requires anyone over the age of 5 to mask up indoors and on public transportation, regardless of vaccination status. Is the honeymoon over? A new poll shows President Biden's popularity is slipping.
The president may be thinking about his own political future and standing after Gallup released a new survey indicating his favorable ratings are slipping to the lowest of his presidency, at least so far 6 months in. Gallup has him at 50% approval. That's down 6 points from a month prior. His disapproval at 45% and 5% with no opinion.
Fox's Mark Meredith. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
After starting the day in the 60s and 70s, we will heat back up into the low to mid 90s this afternoon under partly sunny skies. Not nearly as humid as Saturday, but we will still have some of that smoky haze around. Overnight lows tonight around 70 degrees, back in the mid 90s Monday. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
66 Omaha, 67 in Lincoln at 7:33 on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, folks. Thanks for sticking with us through the break there. I hope everybody got their coffee, got your coffee refilled, got your donuts, Winston. Maggie's happy with you now, I'm sure. And we're back. Now we can get back to work. Number to join us on the program, 888-250-2091. You're listening to Compute This, and my name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with 4 locations to help you out with your computers or other technology devices when you're having trouble with them, when you have questions, when they're not doing what you need them to do. Not just when they're broken, but when you're just trying to figure something out, we're always here to help. Let's jump into the built into the main board that if the manufacturer did not build into the main board, it's just not going to work. And so there's not really a way to know that aside from whether or not you have a 7th gen or newer chip. On the AMD side, which Schrock has pretty much been an AMD shop for a very, very long time. And so a lot of our customers have AMD processors. Anything that's an AMD Ryzen 3rd generation or higher, then you're good to go. If you a Ryzen 3000 series or more, you're good to go. If you have anything that's not a Ryzen processor, like an Athlon or one of the A series chips, like an A8 or an A12, then you're not going to be able to go to Windows 11. So keep in mind, if you have a computer that can't run Windows 11, you can stay on Windows 10 until 2025. As long as you keep your Windows 10 version current, you'll still get security updates. Now, to answer the other side of your question, why would you want to move to Windows 11? And our recommendation is, if you can go to 11, you should do that. Number one, it doesn't, as the board used to say, resistance is futile. I mean, you're going to end up on Windows 11 one day, whether you like it or not. Windows 11, it looks and acts very much like Windows 10. You're not going to have a lot of interruption in your flow, basically. But all the new features that Microsoft is releasing are going to be coming out for Windows 11 and not Windows 10. For example, Windows 11 will allow you to natively run Android applications within Windows. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't really care about that because I don't really play games on my phone, or I have a flip phone, or I don't know anything about these apps or whatever. Here's a practical application. Let's say that you've got a Ring video doorbell, and you want to take a look at the video from your Ring video doorbell because somebody is at the door, but you're in front of your computer and you don't have your phone with you. Or you just want to watch the video doorbell on a screen that's not your phone. You can run that app on your computer now, which you could do super techie stuff and install BlueStacks and all these other things, emulators, and then you could do it then as well. People can do that, but Windows is making it easy now to do that. And the advantages here are going to be huge because you're going to basically reintroduce the app economy back into the PC world. So it's going to be pretty spectacular. So that's just one example of something that Windows 11 is doing that is going to be a game changer. Now, on the other side, the security side of things, Windows 11 is incredibly more secure than Windows 10. And that's one of the reasons why 80% of Windows 10 computers are going to be obsoleted by Windows 11, because they just don't meet the security requirements, because they weren't either set up that way in the first place or the hardware is not capable of doing it. So to answer your question, the advantages, you get better security in Windows 11. You also get new features in Windows 11. The disadvantages, if your computer is unable to take Windows 11, you have to buy a new computer, unfortunately. Or if it's a Schrock modular computer, guess what? We can upgrade it, and we can turn it into a Windows 11 compatible computer and save you a boatload of money. So that's it in a nutshell, Kathy.
Okay, I'm not sure whether mine is compatible, but I have to bring it in for maintenance. And
well, we'll print it right on your invoice. We'll print it on there for you. And is it a Schrock build?
No, but you put so many things into it, it might as well be.
Well, I'll tell you, for those of you out there listening who own modular computers, some of the things that need to be done to a computer to make it compatible are software-based things, and some of them are hardware. If all your computer needs is a software-based thing, we do that for free on Schrock-built computers, whether they're in warranty or not. It's a brand equity thing. We want to make sure that your Schrock computer remains upgradable. So if yours is pretty much a Schrock computer, Kathy, we'll take a look as well.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great afternoon. Thanks for the call, Kathy. All right, number to join us, just like Kathy, to get in that drawing, 888-250-2091. Gordon, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
So I went through the steps that you said to check the version of Windows.
Yeah.
And it's the 20H2.
Yeah, okay.
And so I go to upgrade, and it says no upgrades available.
Yep. So Microsoft has identified your computer as one that will potentially have a problem with 21H1. And as you might remember, Microsoft got several black eyes, blue screening people's computers trying to install new versions of Windows 10. So they kind of backed off. So if they're not 100% certain that your computer can take it, they're not going to push it on you. Now, the problem is they don't test computers more than 18 months old. So if your computer is older than 18 months, you may never automatically get it, even though you may have no problems receiving it. So you have a couple choices here. Number one, we do this in the service center for $85. We don't even charge a full hour of labor for it because it's mostly automated, but we check everything out on the computer. We make sure everything is great. If you want to do it yourself at home, on our website, you can purchase our Safe Upgrade product. That's only $55, and it does all the pre-checks that we do in the service center and then installs the update for you. And you can go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop, and then I think it's still under specials, or it might be under software now, but you can find that product there. Now, your third option is you can always just do it yourself. And if you want to try to do it yourself, you just Google download Windows 10 or duck it, whatever you want to do, download Windows 10 and click on the Microsoft link that comes up, and you'll be able to, it'll say, do you want to upgrade this PC or do you want to build a flash drive to upgrade other PCs? You'll say upgrade this PC, and it'll go through and do it for you. So that's one of the ways that we do it over the Schrock desk if we're having trouble getting it through Windows Update. So the big thing to check first is make sure you don't have any viruses and make sure that your hard drive is not in a failure state. And of course, the easiest way to check your hard drive is to install our free Drive Advisor program. That's how we check it over the Schrock desk, driveadvisor.com. And you can go there, install that, and it'll tell you if your hard drive is healthy or not. Because the number one reason that these things fail is because your hard drive is in a failure state and you don't know it.
Okay. Well, I think it's actually got that on there. You guys installed a new solid-state hard drive on this.
Perfect. Yep. Then we would have put it on there to monitor it for your warranty.
Okay.
Yep. So you should be good to go.
All right. Cool. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Gordon. I appreciate you taking the time to call. Number to join us, 888-250-2091. So we talked, before we take our break here, we talked about the Kaseya ransomware situation. If you missed that program,
Those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive. Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. I love the bumper music around here. It's pretty awesome. You know, if you're not from the 90s, you have no idea what that meant. All right, welcome back in. My name's Thor Schrock. You're listening to Compute This. 4 locations to help you out with your computer. Just a reminder that August 1st, it literally is like somebody flips a switch. And all of a sudden, the bench gets very, very, very full. So we want to make sure if you're going to be bringing your computer in for back-to-school maintenance, things like that, I warned you last week about it. This week is like the final hurry up. If you're going to get in quick, get out quick. Now is the time to do it. I'm dealing with the Facebook feed here, guys. I apologize for the situation. It looks like the internet connection went down on the wireless as well. So I don't have time to switch to a hotspot right now, but I will let the engineers here at the studio know that they definitely have a problem with their wireless router or switch. So that maybe we can get this fixed because this is week 2. This has happened, so we'll see about getting that fixed up too. Nothing like troubleshooting it while you're live on the air. 888-250-2091. So HP makes printers. We've all had an HP printer at some point in our lives, right? You usually don't get them to last more than a couple years. Well, if you have an HP LaserJet printer of any kind, it is possible you've had your printer for 16 years. Those things are flippin' tanks. So HP LaserJet printers, amazing printers. Everybody loves them. The ink cartridges, the toner cartridges didn't get chipped until the last few years. So it was a way for you to escape the 90-day expiration date on inkjet ink that HP does and all that garbage. Now they chip the toner cartridges too, unfortunately. But most businesses and people who do mass printing go through a toner cartridge within 90 days. If you have a LaserJet, you're probably using a toner cartridge within 90 days. Now, here's the trick. There has been a vulnerability in the HP driver for your LaserJet for 16 years that through every iteration of Windows released, 16 years. So that'd be, 15 years from 2005 forward. So every HP LaserJet that's been sold since George W. Bush was in his first term is vulnerable to allowing your computer to be completely taken over by a hacker through the printer driver. HP has patched this now. Yay! This is awesome, right? Why do I need you, Thor? What are you telling me about this? HP patched it. Thanks for telling me 16 years later, computer guru dude. Well, I'm telling you about it because HP patched it, but they're not sending you the driver. Oh, golly. So you got to update your computer manually. Okay, so how do you do that? How do you get your printer drivers up to date? How do you safely update any drivers on your computer? Because we all get offered those driver updater programs. Driver advisor, not drive advisor, driver advisor. That's not us. Number one, if you have any program on your computer that is monitoring your drivers or updating your drivers, please get rid of it before it causes a bad problem, because it will. There is no reason to monitor your drivers or update your drivers. What happens when you install those programs is they scan your computer to see what drivers you're using for what chipsets you have, and they upload all of your drivers to their database and all the files. And then the next guy that comes along, you might have an Asus computer, like what we use for our unibodies on our solid-state laptops. Did I mention you could win a free one at SchrockInnovations.com right now? BTW, check it out. Maybe you've got an Asus, and some other guy's got a Lenovo, and his chipset has a newer driver than your Asus chipset, but they're actually chipsets implemented in different ways, so the drivers are different. And so you end up with it's like that Johnny Cash song, one piece at a time. You've got an Asus running an HP driver and a Dell driver and an Acer driver and all kinds of. There's a Gateway 2000 driver in there somewhere, I'm pretty sure. You don't want to have that. So how do you properly update your drivers if they need to be updated? Well, here's the thing. All major companies release driver updates directly to Microsoft. So what you can do to check for new driver updates is the same way you would check for Windows updates, like a 2.1H1 update, like the previous caller. He said he checked for updates, but there weren't any. When you click on Start, now you left-click on it, and then you left-click on the gear, right? This is going to open up your control panel, and the very last control panel is called Update and Security. When you click on Update and Security, there's just a big button there that says Check for Updates. You click it. You click the Check for Updates button. It's going to think for a couple seconds or longer, depending on how far out of date you are, and it's going to come back and tell you you're up to date. If it comes back and says you're up to date, all your drivers are current. If it comes up and says you're up to date, but there are recommended updates, these are not critical updates. See, Microsoft's not going to put their neck on the line for HP. They're not going to force that printer driver into your computer because they don't want to be responsible if something goes sideways. But the recommended updates are those driver updates. So when Dell pushes a BIOS update like they did 3 weeks ago for almost every Dell computer in existence, that's where you're going to find it if you don't already find it through the Dell support service. If you're not going to find it this one through the HP support service or go directly to hp.com, you'll find it at Windows Update. So be sure to check for recommended updates or bring your computer in for preventative maintenance. We do recommended updates as part of your maintenance. 888-250-2091. Let's see, who do we have now? Who's next in line here? Dale? Dale, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Oh, this is a perfect segue. I want to uninstall a HP printer.
Oh, okay.
And my past experience with that is they got tentacles all over the whole system.
Oh, yeah.
And if I remember right, you used to recommend like a Revo uninstaller.
Yeah, it works good.
And they have both the one you can download and a portable version. My question is, do you still recommend it? And does the portable one work as well as the one you have to download?
Yeah, Revo is still a great program. It's one of those things that can be too advanced and actually cause a problem if you use it incorrectly. So it's important to be careful with it. But Revo basically started fixing drones. And then they started fixing computers because they can't make enough money fixing phones to stay in business. It's not a profitable thing to do, number one. And number two, the companies that make the phones, whether it's Apple, Samsung, doesn't matter, they're making it increasingly difficult to repair the devices with proprietary tools, proprietary parts that you can't buy anywhere. Let me give you an example. So what is right to repair? Right to repair is basically the belief that you have the right to be able to purchase parts to fix your own stuff. That, if the parts are made, you should be able to buy them. So here's a great example. Let's say you have a set of Galaxy earbuds. If your Galaxy earbuds battery goes bad, the batteries in those things are teeny tiny batteries. You should be able to purchase a replacement lithium-ion battery for an earbud, right? I mean, let's say what's going to cost you like $10, $20, and then maybe you put it in yourself, or maybe you have some other shop do it. I don't know. Nope, you literally cannot buy that battery. Most of those batteries are made by a company in Germany, and they are made under contract for Samsung. And Samsung in their contract says you will not sell these batteries to anybody but Samsung. And Samsung does not sell parts. They want you to buy a new pair of Galaxy earbuds. Apple does the same thing. They're no saint. MacBooks have a special charging chip on them that limits the number of chargers that you can use to make sure that you're buying an Apple genuine charger. So, all these companies are doing this to make sure that you're buying their genuine parts. So the FCC is about to jump in on right to repair and start enforcing right to repair rules on companies, very much similar to what's happening in Australia right now. So that's really cool stuff there as well. All right, we don't have time to take any more calls, Deborah or Mark, but I did get you in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. To answer Mark's question, can older iPads get infected? Absolutely. There are security updates for a reason, and Apple devices, just like Android devices, are not exempt from viruses anymore by a long shot. So make sure that you're aware of that. Today's winner, Deborah, congratulations. You've got yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. We'll get that added to your Schrock account so that it's available for you next time you want to come in. Given the internet connection, guys, I don't think we're going to be doing an after Schrock today. There's just not enough internet for it. You know what? I'll try on my hotspot. Okay, I'll try facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, and we'll see you all next week.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB Omaha, an iHeart radio station.